welcome to the Mahindra Transport Excellence Awards Series 2012 on ET Now. I'm Siddharth Sharma, and over the next half an hour, this panel discussion will be focusing on the family-run transport business in India and looking at some opportunities and challenges. And joining me on this panel discussion today are four eminent panelists from the transport space, and they are Saurabh Ghosh, advisor and consultant transport sector; Mr. Rahul Agarwal, MD, Bhoruka Logistics; Mr. Manish Sehgal, partner, transportation and logistics, KPMG India; and Mr. Nalin Mehta, CEO and MD, Mahindra Navistar Automobiles. Welcome all on this show today. So let me begin by asking all of you this question. What is the current scenario of the family-run transport business in India? Saurabh, if you'd like to take that question.
Any professional transport house in India right now, it's an amalgamation of various things and requirements which the country practically needs at this present moment of time. Transport houses basically are small family-run businesses. Maybe 40-50 trucks would be the maximum size of the fleet they would have, and they run this fleet with maybe a few professional managers, a few professional supervisors, and that's about it. The basic professional needs of processes and systems presently very few, but yes, they get the job done, and that's how the transport situation is in our country, unfortunately, at this present moment.
Rahul, if you'd like to add something to it.
I would agree with him because see, the transport trade is highly fragmented and unorganized. Few of the companies are emerging as professional houses, and as was earlier mentioned, that the need of providing single window platform to the clients, multiple services under one roof, is the need of the hour. So family-run companies need to professionalize. They need to hire more talent. They need to, I would say, let go of the reins, so that they can grow with the markets and be able to provide multiple services under the same banner.
All right, Manish, if you'd like to add something to it.
Maybe just to add a few more angles from my side. I see it as a glass that's half empty and also half full. So we've come a long way. Like what Rahul mentioned, there are a few family houses that actually have professionalized themselves over the last 4 or 5 decades in this country. Having said that, 95% transporters still in this country are small time trucking outfits with very small ownership of trucks. These also serve the basic livelihood for many of these entrepreneurs come promoters, and must tell you, they do get their job done, as Saurabh was saying, but frankly they have a long way to go as far as professionalization of their setup is concerned.
See, as Manish pointed out, he sees it as glass half full, half empty, but marketing guys usually say that you need to resize your glass. So what's your take on that, Nalin?
You see, I would say that the transport industry, whether it's family run or run by managers, is in some ways professional and in some ways not, and not professional. I think what I would make a point is that you should create an industry where professionals can come and work, So it's being run professionally by the family, but to let go and expand, to increase the gambit of your services, to be a full service provider than just a transporter from point A to point B, will require a mindset. So if you have to let go, you have to make the industry attractive enough for the professionals to walk in, and I think that's the key point here.
All right, moving on to my next question to all of you guys. Now, you've told me the current scenario of the family-run business. So how can the Indian family-owned transport sector company evolve into a much more professional way, or a much more professionally run enterprise? Saurabh.
You see, I wouldn't exactly call this word professional, because professional should be taken with a degree of the context in which it's been spoken of. Now, if you're talking about what the MNCs, the various other companies outside India, foreign companies, would like from a transporter, and if we're taking that as a concept, then we talk about professional here. In That way, yes, of course, the transport companies could hire a professional CEO, maybe get into more training needs. Of course, would say systems and processes. Systems and processes definitely are a lack which is definitely felt by the Indian industry.
Okay.
And transporters at this present date of time understand that they have to take a material from X to Y for delivery. What the professionals want, or so-called MNCs would require, is not only the delivery of their product, but they would also like the information. Information and feedback is something which is missing from the Indian transport industry, and which all MNCs are looking for very much. So even, I mean, more than a quicker delivery, etc. The information of their material and where it is delivered, when it will be delivered, that is very important. So systems and processes, I would say.
But you are from a family-run business, so how do you take this, opportunity of running it more professionally?
See, before answering that question, I wanted to mention a point which is related to the earlier question, is that we don't have an entry barrier in our trade.
Okay.
So there is no proper level playing field. Today a company which is more professional, has more assets, has put in a lot of money and time in systems and manpower training, is treated on the same level as a small broker or a small transporter who's got nothing to lose.
Okay.
He sets up shop without any licenses, without any entry costs, and he's competing with us. And it's also a sad fact that multinationals and big corporations are willing to hire those smaller players at a lower cost just to save some money.
Okay.
So before we answer the question that how should we be more professional, the question is what is the incentive for a mid-sized company or a growing company to put in more systems, to put in more money, to be more professional, because at the end of the day you're still competing with those unorganized players who will work at margins of 1% and 2% because they've got nothing to lose.
Okay.
But having said that, if you look at 30 years ago how the industry was, and today we have a lot of more options. We have so many truck manufacturers who are setting up shop. We've got Mahindra Navistar who's put up a state-of-the-art plant. We've got Mercedes-Benz which has come in. We've got Scania which is coming in. So what's happening is that the quality of the asset is improving.
Okay.
That itself leads to a better service level. The transit times reduce, the driver fatigues are being taken care of. Today the biggest problem that the industry faces is the driver shortage. You don't have enough drivers. Today the drivers who are running on the roads are treated so badly that if you ask any driver what would you like your son to be, he would say anything but a driver.
Okay.
So that's the biggest challenge, and that's the biggest problem that the industry faces. If you are able to overcome this problem, a lot of other things would fall into place.
So anything that you would like to add to what?
See, I have a related point, and I guess it was discussed in some way or the other. I think whenever we talk about professionally run businesses, essentially we are trying to talk about distinction between ownership and management, right? And we've seen in several businesses that end of the day, you as businesses sort of evolve, actually there's no problem if owners or somebody from the family can actually discharge roles and responsibilities in line with what, let's say, a management requirement of a company might be. What we therefore need is more a governance setup. Once that falls in place, I actually don't see a very significant disconnect between necessarily getting professional people from outside, more so because Rahul made a very valid point. I mean, the moment you talk to any transportation company today, and I have so many clients in this space, the moment you use a professional, the first thing that hits their mind is, oh, it means, I have to pay salaries, which are, I have to install big systems.
Yeah.
It all means cost. Customer is not going to pay. How I'm going to manage it, right? So I guess we have to just draw a distinction between ownership and management and put a governance frame around it, and we can still run the businesses in a very professional way, even in this context.
That's very true. And with that thought, it's time for a very short break at the Mahindra Transport Excellence Awards Series 2012 on ET Now. But don't go anywhere, because there's a lot more of this discussion left on the other side. Welcome back. You're watching the Mahindra Transport Excellence Award Series 2012 on ET Now, where the focus is on professionalizing the family-run transport business in India and also exploring some opportunities and challenges. Rahul is from a family-owned transport business, so I would rather ask Manish this question: How do you think they should manage the people and the talent required for growth in this space? You know, with the practices of world-leading transport companies.
You see, I think we've had a problem very clearly in this industry that quality talent, did not consider. Let's say, and let's be candid about it. Till maybe 5-6 years ago, if not going back a decade, did not consider logistics as their preferred career option. But now we've come to a point where there are a good number of Indian companies, a good number of international companies operating in this space. And therefore, as far as managerial talent is concerned, there are people who are getting pulled into this sector from different walks of life. And therefore, as companies, and especially the Indian companies, it is not easy, I must tell you, to sort of attract this talent, because this talent is also being sort of poached by international companies. They also have possibly options other than, just logistics sector. So I've seen models where, Indian companies are actually a lot more forthcoming and actually, not just, somewhere coming close as far as the compensation structures are concerned, but also sharing part ownership based on performance, making him in some way, making the employee some way, partner in the business, giving a lot more empowerment, frankly, that some of them are not used to, let's say, in multinational setup. And that actually is paying rich dividends, because I know of management teams, with professional background who have done very well with some of these Indian companies as they have grown and created value.
Mr. Mehta, you've also been associated with it. Do you have any insights on this?
I recently was at IIM Ahmedabad, where the professor gave an example of shipping. He says perhaps 3 or 4 decades the shipping was in the same situation as the road transport is today. But today, to get into shipping is reasonably prestigious.
Okay.
And what have they done in last 3-4 decades? Because to which the road transport has not done. And I think 2-3 things have emerged. Once, I think the opportunities to have formal education in road transportation, logistics, 3PL suppliers is still limited. Even if you are a family-run business, you have youngsters who are growing up, and they need to get formal education, specialization in this area. And then the entrepreneur model, which was mentioned here, can work very well because they will add value. So I think that's one. Two, the transport industry has to, expand its mindset from trying to be, make more money by reducing cost to make more money by getting more business or getting more revenue.
So, let me ask all of you gentlemen over here, what do you think are the changes that are required in the attitudes, beliefs and the management styles of these family-run businesses? Saurabh?
Well, I would say basically, you see, with the family-run businesses, there is a person who has built his business, he's grown it to a certain level, he's seen his margins shrinking and his business not really expanding to that rate. He feels very insecure if he's got a professional person who is paying a lot of salary, who he feels is not giving what he really wants, because margins here are very less. So I would say basically what we need is a lot of training, in-house training, making his people multitasking, making his people able to do every kind of work, and thereby bringing a degree of management. I don't use the word professionalism here. I would say management governance. Governance is the main issue in this case, basically.
Manish, governance, do you have anything to add to it?
See, I think, when we talk about change in attitude, right, I look at it at 2 levels. One at the management level, and again, there I guess the way some of these companies have grown, promoters have actually very closely, run these businesses in a way that they believed was the most profitable and right way of running it, and sometimes it actually men doing certain things which may not quote unquote be the most governance practices, so as to say, right? So as you change your attitude in this time and you know really get your business ready for the kind of competition in the market we are talking about, the change you require is you have to embrace governance. You have to embrace you know processes that actually ensure that right accountability, right visibility you know are put in place. You have to learn to empower your managers. While we talk about this at a management level, one of the big attitude change we also need in this industry is giving respect to people down below, and especially when we talk about loaders, drivers. Frankly, look, they are the most rejected lot, all right? And as we professionalize these setups at a certain management level, we shouldn't ignore how we have to change our attitude towards them. And I'm sure Rahul will have more experiences to share on that.
Well, I agree with you. I mean, it's about giving them their due respect and taking them up in life. So when you talk about managerial professionalism and more skilled workers or employees in your organization, if you bring people from down to up, it works very well, because when somebody is already down at the bottom and he's being pulled up, that gives him a lot of respect, and then that respect brings a lot of responsibility in him. So rather than working from the top to the down, it's always better to work from the bottom. It works in all angles, because you're not only giving them the due respect, you're also giving them a better pay package, you're also training them so they learn more, and that training would take them forward in life. For example, if they want to change jobs or they're looking for better opportunities, they have more knowledge within them, they have more capabilities within them, and that could take them ahead in life.
Manish, are there any stringent policy measures that can be taken to motivate small operators to maintain formal accounts and transform the business practices, you think?
Well, I mean, suffice to say that any business that's operating as a commercial enterprise, even as a proprietorship, are expected to maintain accounts and get them vetted by so-called reputed auditors, right, on the ground. Frankly, and there's a practical side to it, if you look at the fragmentation in this industry, you're talking about lakhs of transporters, and small-time operators. So I don't think it's really practical for government to think about having a body that can actually play a vigilance role, examining the accounts of many of these small-time guys. But I guess what is really important is many of these companies also have to realize that by not being transparent and by not sort of managing their keeping their books in the right shape, beyond a point they're also doing injustice with themselves, because they are seriously dampening their chances of raising capital, they're dampening their chances of attracting talent, which frankly in today's world counts a lot more than maybe saving that couple of thousand on taxes, right? And that is what I guess some of the small to medium sized transportation companies, at least based on my interaction, have started realizing. And a lot of it has also happened because their next generation has now got into the business. They're well trained, they've studied abroad, they've seen how businesses have scaled up, and they are able to convince the family of the value of having the right governance practices. Yeah.
All right, with that thought, it's time for another short break on the Mahindra Transport Excellence Awards Series 2012.